I feel like I never know where to look. I'm like looking at myself on the screen, but then also I don't know if I should be looking at the lens or the screen. Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing some gouache painting and I thought I would share my process a little bit. I know gouache is rising in popularity right now and it's really good for illustrators because it's so versatile. So today I'm going to be just doing some paintings for fun. I just finished a commission and I've been doing client projects for the past like 2 weeks nonstop. So I'm kind of just needing a little bit of a break to work on some personal stuff.
Everything about everything about everything about everything.
So these are some sketches that I did on my iPad that I'll just kind of be working with today. And then you can see where I have, these are just some rough paintings that I started that maybe I wasn't really happy with and I want to try again. And then I have some regular sketches here. This is of our hotel in Dominican Republic where we just were on vacation. And I have some desserts. I was hoping this would be like a portfolio piece. Okay, so this is my typical setup. So here I have this tracing pad light box thing. I'm not really sure what to call it, but I'll leave a link to it in the description. Basically, it is a light up pad. I still don't know what to call it. So you put your sketch on here, you plug it into your computer, or you can use like a regular plug into the wall if you want, and then you turn it on. There's 3 different settings. So this is the first, second, and then third. So the third is obviously the brightest. And then you can just put your watercolor paper on top of your sketch, and then you see your sketch below. I hope you like my artist attire. So when I'm painting for fun, I cannot sit on this chair right now. I like to just use a cheap watercolor paper. And the reason being is that typically the work just ends up being digital anyway. I'll just use this Canson watercolor paper when I am painting for fun because I don't personally notice a huge difference between using like a high quality watercolor paper and this stuff. It's not acid free, which means that the paper might go yellow over time. That doesn't really bother me if I'm not planning on selling the original. So when I'm working on a commission for someone that's an original painting, I will paint on Arches paper or B paper. Anything that's 100% cotton will work. But in this case, I'm just having fun playing around. I don't want to waste expensive paper, so I'm just gonna stick to this guy. So as you can see, as I'm painting this, the paper is wrinkling a lot. So sometimes what I'll do is, especially if I'm doing a full composition painting, this one is a little bit more loose and sketchy, so I decided not to, but I'll use artist tape to hold it down around the edges, and that also leaves a really nice white border. But again, in this case, I'm just kind of playing around and sketching, so I don't really mind. You can see I have my sketch below here. It's one of the more rough sketches. Usually my sketches are a little bit more cleaned up than this. But in this case, again, I'm just kind of playing around. I haven't had much time to do personal work, so I'm just trying to get back into it. Really quickly, I just wanted to show you a couple of other cheap watercolor paper options. These are both pretty good. This one is from Desserts It is by Fabriano. It's very sort of thin, so I use this a lot for like floral patterns, something that I'm not going to be layering too much. And also this one is by Arteza. This one's cold press and it's also acid free, which is nice. I really like this one. I find that it's very similar to 100% cotton watercolor paper. I don't think it is 100% cotton. It's kind of like a step up from the other cheaper ones. One more thing that you might have noticed is that I have this gouache palette, and the reason why I have this is because I bought a big set of gouache paints by this brand Arteza. I was really surprised at the quality and how good they are, and I like to use this palette because I find it's just easier than mixing colors. I do mix colors and I do use professional grade paints as well, but when I'm just sketching or just playing around, when I'm not creating an original painting for a client, I'll just use these because I find that it's easy to get the colors that I want. It's easy to just refer back to them. If I mix a color, if I don't mix enough of it, then I don't have enough to go back, and then if I try to mix it again, I don't get the right color. So these are just really nice to have handy. I also like to move around the house. I don't like to sort of paint in one area. So it's nice to just have like a palette that you can take with you instead of a huge box of tube paints. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me some questions about my art process if you had any. The first one is from Megan Lobrien, and she's asked, are you self-taught? And my answer is yes and no. I went to fashion school where we learned about fashion illustration and we were trained in that, so that definitely took my drawing skills to the next level. But I have been painting for a very long time, like since I was probably, I don't know, like 12. White Lotus, Dharma, and Angeline Naudet both asked if I do sort of digital retouching, and yes I do. The power of Photoshop is very, very helpful, especially when you make mistakes because you can't really correct them that well with gouache or watercolor. So I'll make another video on how I edit my illustrations, but yes, I definitely do use digital refinements. Jadin also asks, are you able to sell all the originals you make? The answer is no, because of what I said before. If I'm just sketching and just playing around but then end up with a really good piece, but if it's on a piece of paper that won't really last, I can't sell that. And if it's not good quality paint, I can't sell that. I focus more on prints and licensing those illustrations. Alexandra Danielle asks, how do you structure your painting? How do you outline it / prepare it for painting? So like I mentioned, I use my iPad a lot for this process. I really like the fact that you can take your iPad and just like move anything around wherever you want on the screen. You can resize things. It's a lot easier than sketching, and I find I don't waste as much paper. And then I just print out my sketch and put it on my tracing pad and then put the watercolor paper over top. So that's a process that has worked for me, and that means that I don't have any pencil lines on my paper also. So that's just been working for me for the past little while. If that changes, I'll update you, but for now, I really like to sketch on my iPad and just plan everything out on there. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!